Hi, in today's video, I'm going to share with you the diet that I have been following in order to battle psoriasis, how it has changed over the years according to the advice of various people as well as my doctors, and most importantly, the results I've had and how I have tweaked them according to my preferred dietary choices. Now, if you're someone who is undergoing this very traumatizing disease such as psoriasis, eczema or any other skin disease, then you know that as much as the physical detox through food and nutrition is important, the spiritual detox is also very important. And if you want help with that, then I would love to share my meditation prompts, my journal prompts, my visualization techniques and affirmations, which have helped me battle this very traumatic disease and being able to manifest my medical team as well as a cure for psoriasis. So if you want to get all those, then please subscribe by signing up for my email list, which is in the description box below. So now coming back to the topic of what my diet has been. I have been diagnosed with psoriasis since the age of 6, and I was not aware that you needed some type of special diet or you needed to avoid something, because frankly there was really not many resources as now. It was something that I would go off, the advice I would get would be from the doctors, and they didn't really ask me to have any dietary restrictions, and then whatever little medical journals I would see, they would recommend fish. So anyway, fish is something that we have as Bengalis, but I wasn't having, so anyway, that's another story. Now somewhere around when I was going to college, my mom found this Ayurvedic doctor who asked me to give up all forms of non-veg, so chicken, mutton, fish, and you name it, so all non-veg, for the time that I was having his medicines. Now at that time I didn't know, I was pretty young and I was desperate to really get a cure. I didn't realize that he had asked me to give up all that as a symbol of sacrifice, because he was an Uriya doctors, and I understand Uriyas, they are very religious, so like they wanted me to give up something like non-veg as a way of penance, rather than that being a dietary requirement, which I got to know much later. But anyway, I didn't care. I was vegetarian for 3 years, and then when I went abroad for my masters, it became really difficult for me to find vegetarian food, and it also was easier to cook chicken and rather than cook vegetable. So I started eating non-veg, even though I really never had a great liking for it. So I was having it more for survival rather than anything else, and because it was convenient to cook that and find that over there in France. Now during that phase, whenever I would come to India, I would consult a doctor and I would take Ayurvedic medicines from here. I started Ayurveda long back. I would take medicines from here, and then till whenever long it would last. But I had no dietary restrictions as such. But I remember the doctor telling me when I came and visited him here in Calcutta, that many of his patients who have psoriasis, they get it after they go abroad, because the food abroad, like in Western countries, like bread and mutton and frozen food, is not really the best food for skin diseases, and so therefore they would come back with skin diseases. And I was like, but that's not my case, because I've already had it ever since I was here. So anyway, and so it went on and off like this. Then when I was in Chennai working, I found this Siddha doctor, which is like, Siddha is like the southern version of Ayurvedic medicine, and there is this person hammering somewhere and it's driving me nuts right now. Okay, so the Siddha doctor asked me to avoid tomatoes and curd. Now I was living in a PG, and whatever food was being made for me, I would have that, and I obviously did not have the energy or the resources or the time after working to cook for myself. And when there is yummy food being prepared and laid down in front of me, I was obviously not going to make my own food. And the food obviously had tomatoes, like Indian food has tomatoes by default, and especially South Indian food. So, and of course curd is pretty much prevalent in South Indian cuisines, and so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to have the medicines and not going to bother with the dietary restrictions. So I understand if you're someone who's working and who doesn't have access to a kitchen all the time or resources, that why imposing like a dietary restriction would be difficult. But now let me tell you about the time I went to USA and I was going to an acupuncturist, and you know, in USA I was obviously cooking my food, so that's when I could really exert some kind of control, or not control, like I could make some changes. The acupuncturist I was seeing, I had a huge flare up, and he was asking me what food I have, and I said I have peanut butter, I have bacon every day, and I have chocolates from time to time. Like I was just telling him my daily food, and I used to have peanut butter and bacon sandwiches every day at that point. And he was like, wait a second, you have peanut butter? Don't you know that you're not supposed to have that on psoriasis? I was like, what? Because no one had ever told me in all these years of me going to doctors that peanut is not something you can have. And he's like, don't you know there is a diet for psoriasis? I was like, really? I just knew about tomatoes and curd. I avoid curd. Tomatoes are difficult, but yeah, tell me more. And then he's like, okay, I'm going to look it up. I'm not a doctor, but I'm going to look it up because acupuncture is still like also like Ayurveda, like holistic medicine. So he was like, I'm going to look it up, and he told me that I should avoid anything that generates heat, and he gives me examples such as peanut and chocolate and bacon. So I was like, okay, great. So 3 of my favorite things gone. And but it was not difficult when you know that you're suffering. You'll really do anything, even give up your favorite foods. So I gave that up. I reduced it. And then in 2020, I was I don't know why I decided to work with a personal trainer, but they were like, not like, they were doing a challenge sort of, and like, you know, challenge of losing so much weight in so many days. And I had that time, that was my goal. And I am always against using something unnatural or some synthetic or something not natural. I'm very against of ingesting it or even applying it. But I don't know how they convinced me, maybe because I was looking for like a different kind of solution, or I was looking for new methods. I don't know how they convinced me to have like some pill or something, like a supplement. I don't know what it's even called because I'm not familiar with that industry of supplements. But they convinced me to have a pill or something which will basically keep me from feeling hungry. I feel like it was some metabolism boosting pill or something which would, you know, help me burn fat or something. I don't know what it was, but I could tell that even though it might have been getting me close to the results, I don't know. I was also working out. So even though it might have helped me in the department, it led to, I feel that was responsible for giving me another huge flare in 2020. And that time again, like when I'm abroad, I don't have access to Ayurvedic doctors, so I really had to, you know, turn to social media. And by this time, in all these years of really looking for information, I found information because, well, Instagram and so on. At that time I found this lady called Hannah Stilto on Instagram. She has cured herself through nutrition, and she has a book where she takes you through a process of which she calls eating your way to healthy skin. I think that's the book I bought. I bought the book called Radiant, and she has a 28-day process or something of like fasting for 3 days, and then I think eliminating foods for, you know, another, I don't know how long, but yeah, she has a process. And then the best thing is that she has recipes, keeping in mind all the things that she's asked you to avoid. So I'll tell you what are the things she asked people to avoid. Nightshades like tomatoes, capsicums. I don't know if capsicums are nightshades, but I'll tell you which vegetables. Capsicums, any chilies, white potatoes. So have red potatoes inside. So I spent like a year not having white potatoes, which are my favorite thing. Oh my god, it was so painful. And then no gluten, no peanuts. I think she said no peanuts. No, she was okay with peanuts. Then what else? Let me see. Dairy products, obviously that's something I figured that really contributes to lack of digestion and creates problems. And then she was vegan for ethical reasons. Like, she didn't say that non-veg makes it worse. She was vegan for ethical reasons, and at that time, just by coincidence, I was also trying to become vegan, so it worked for me. I was like, yay, great. And I did that for a month, being vegan. It didn't last, but my dairy free continued for years because I really felt like not having dairy made a difference to my gut. So yeah, all these things I avoided, and then I really got really good results. Like again, keep in mind all these things that I'm telling you, it's not always because of one cause that I'm having this food, I'm having this medicine, therefore it's getting better. I'm eliminating this food, therefore it's getting better. It's always a conjunction of spiritual and mental detox. Like at that time also I was not working thanks to COVID, and I think that also contributed. I was really happy and stress free, so that played a huge factor. So that's why I keep emphasizing it's not one particular thing that makes it cure something. It's a combination of many things, and in the case of psoriasis and eczema, it's a combination of your nutrition as well as your inner work, like your spiritual detox, like getting rid of our negative emotions. Okay, so I think it's very important for me to stress that from time to time, instead of, so that you don't go on like this strict diet and then come back and say, hey, I tried all this but I didn't get results, so that I can tell you that, hey, you also need to do all this. So yeah, I was telling you, where was I was telling you about the diet I was on when I was following Hannah Stilto. So you can go check her out, great resource. She's cured herself just through nutrition. Now I had great results, mild psoriasis. When I came to India, my parents were like, it looks like you don't have psoriasis. They were very content, but I wanted to go a step further and be completely cured of it, not have scars, not have any lesions ever come up again. So I went further and did all the things that I talk about: meditation, journaling, visualization, affirmations, and manifested a team of doctors here in Calcutta who told me that they can get me permanent cure. I mean, they gave me hopes, but they would need 2 years of my life. And then the diet that they have asked me to follow is no ripe banana, no curd, no chola motor. Chola motor is like a Bengali term. I'll tell you what it mostly includes. So peanuts, no almonds, no walnuts, no chola, which is, I think, I don't know what it is, like it's a type of dal, I guess. Is that what it's called? So if you know what is chola in English, please let me know. Please let me know in the comments below so that others can know. Legumes, certain type of dals. The only dals that I can have are moong and mushur, which are the most used dals in Bengali cuisine, so that works out. And so I can't have like black dal, urad dal, korayed dal. I can't have all these dals. Only 2 dals allowed and rest no. So no rajma, no thing. Anyway, I don't have rajma, so I'm not missing out on that. And what else? Yeah, so these are the types of dals. No peanuts, obviously, so sad. No peanuts. I haven't had peanuts in a year. It's a big thing. I mean, before that I used to have it sparingly, but yeah, no peanuts, no peanuts. No chickpeas, no chickpea, and so therefore, since you don't have chickpea, you don't have chickpea flour, which is besan, bashon. So no chanachur. I have not had chanachur in a year. I really do like having my chanachur muri, but I don't have it. I just have plain muri now. It's so sad. But it's not, because the thing is, after a point you just start enjoying it. Whatever you have, even if it's plain muri, who would have thought I would have given up peanuts and a chanachur, just had plain muri? But I'm having that now and enjoy it, because I really have no other option. When you are in so much pain, what are you going to do? Like, give up chanachur and muri, peanuts for 2 years, or suffer for the rest of your life? So that's what I'm doing right now. Now, what is all this noise in the background? Now that's the thing I am on. And since you can't have curd and you can't have soya bean also, because again it's a type of bean, so all these beans and nuts, the idea is, they haven't told me, but my understanding from doing all the research, Hannah's book, and obviously my experience, is that all these nuts are heavy on your digestive system, and someone with psoriasis or eczema, they or basically an autoimmune, they don't have the capability to metabolize these heavy foods, or any food in general. They have a lower metabolism, they can't digest food that quickly. So why burden them with even more difficult foods? And then of course these foods, they collect water, so that's why I think it leads to inflammation, and you don't want to avoid anything that causes inflammation. Alcohol, my doctors have never told me, but Hannah in her book, she used to drink a lot of alcohol, and she used to have really bad psoriasis, by the way. In fact, so bad that she was almost on the like verge of getting an operation. They had to remove, on the verge of removing something from her body. It was that bad. And she used to drink alcohol. So alcohol is something that my doctors never told me, but I know, and it's also highly inflammatory. I don't drink, so I've never had to give that up. So that's one thing that is not there on the list of things I've had to give up. I miss peanuts the most, I'm not gonna lie. And yes, about curd. The curd, like I don't have curd for a long time since my Chennai doctor told me, but what I miss is in Mughlai food, you know, we use it in marinating the kebabs and the chicken and the mutton. I miss that. So I can't have it from outside. So my workaround, I'll tell you my workarounds. I have to have everything at home, and the most important thing, you know, if you've been watching my videos, or if you have not, then this is your first time, welcome. You cannot have refrigerated food according to my doctors. So most of the food, whether I am craving Chinese, Mughlai, rolls, sandwiches, they have to be made at home, which anyway is what I used to do, but now it's even more strict. So let's say I would indulge in arsalan biryani from time to time earlier, like say once in 3 months. Now even that biryani is made at home, because in biryanis outside, the chicken and the mutton, the meat is marinated in curd. And Chinese food, the soya sauce is not allowed, so you know, we make it without soya sauce for me. So these are the workarounds. And then I'm also going to share with you pictures of the food that I've been having since I've come back from my 3rd therapy visit. And like I personally have my personal values to not have a screen with me when I'm eating food, but I took these pictures for this video as well as to make my sister jealous, because you know, she doesn't live here, so she's going to see it. But I can't capture all my meals throughout the day for the simple reason of my personal value of not carrying a phone, and I just don't have the habit of doing it. So you will not see a like perfect picture of what I usually have. You will mostly see pictures of fun meals which I felt very inspired to take, to basically make my sister jealous mostly, and then also put it up here and just for sharing. But my lunches are very healthy. It's usually the Bengali lunch. It's always a Bengali lunch: rice, 2-3 vegetables, lots of veggies, and then 1 fish, and then dal, and then dessert made at home. That's pretty much my lunch, and then I have a fruit. But that's not going to be there probably in this video, I don't know. It's going to be mostly my dinners, which are mostly my fun meals, and sometimes maybe breakfast. I have chile pulao and stuff. I'm going to share all that in a bit. Let me see, am I missing out on anything? Oh yeah, no maida. So no pizza, no noodles. So I get atta noodles, and I get rice noodles. Then I get the pizza base made at home out of atta. So all these workarounds are for indulging a connoisseur of multi-cuisines like me. If you're not a foodie, then you're lucky. I am. And therefore I have to find ways and irritate the hell out of my maid, so that I get to enjoy all my cuisines. But if you don't have access to some, like you know, someone who's kind and nice and generous enough like my maid and my mom to make all these foods for you, then I guess you'll have to find other solutions. I will, if you want to know other solutions, let me know in the comments below. Dinner is chicken stuffed bread made at home. The chicken is cooked in herbs, and it's made in a cream which has been dried up and then stuffed inside the bread. Dinner, fried rice and chili chicken made at home, and yes, those are my portions. And this is also chana jalebi. This is the first time it's being made at home, and I'm not too familiar with this dish, but yeah, it's being made by mom, and it's already attracted a type of ant, which is not red ant, but it's called ghashvipure. And no, I'm not going to have the entire thing, probably just one. I already had one in the morning. Atta noodles with chili chicken, light preparation without soya sauce, because I'm not supposed to have it, and the chili chicken is made with a coating of atta and not maida, because again I'm supposed to avoid maida. Muri with aloo potol torkari. Atta pizza without cheese, because cheese is usually refrigerated, and even if you make it at home, it requires refrigeration. So I bought the atta bread, atta base, and then the decoration is mine and the baking is mine. Morning breakfast, milk tea with muri which has been dry roasted. Bashanti pulao with mutton kosha, aloo bhaja, and onions with sprinkled with lemon and beet noon. Bele sharbat and khakra for breakfast. Chicken stew with roti. Garden fresh pizza. Dining out. Aloo dum, begun bhaja, and porota with onion. My favorite. Actually, one of my favorites. Tea with gluten-free oats cookies made by me, and muri for breakfast. Chirer pulao with cha.